For as long as humans have lived, the symbols for death have been ever present. Hourglasses, skull and crossbones, spirit Halloween. Most famous, of course, is the visage of a skeleton draped in a black cloak, leaning on an ancient, long-handled scythe. The Grim Reaper. Western sources often describe the Reaper of Souls accompanied by a group of corvids, a murder of crows. Regularly overlooked by historians and literarians, the crow is less nuanced, often displayed carrying a bright red sword. In this analysis, we will come to understand the meaning of a crow with a sword and how it is a much less nuanced, much more obvious symbol of death. My name is Majegs, and I recommend video games for busy people so that you can stop searching and start playing. In this video, I'm recommending Death's Door, a game about a sword-wielding, soul-reaping crow. Death's Door is a game about reaping souls that have been evading the watchful eye of the bureaucratic Reaping Commission headquarters. As a lowly reaper, you take to the field to repo the soul of a giant, living plant. Audrey too, I guess. Unwilling to combat roll off its mortal coil. To do so, you'll have to harness hit-and-run tactics all crows are familiar with. Slash with a sword, roll around, shoot with a bow, roll around, rinse and repeat. Upon slaying the big plant, however, your assigned soul is snatched up by a much larger, much older corvid, which quickly leads to a web of intrigue and conspiracy all tied up in the dusty hallways of the Reaping Commission headquarters. Through sunken grottos, haunted hallways, and decrepit cemeteries, you'll claim souls, upgrade your crow, and gain new abilities to try and find the truth behind the Reaping Commission's mysterious doors. In a lot of ways, Death's Door reminds me of Tunic. The protagonist is a cute, sword-wielding critter, the gameplay is overall swish, roll, swish, and the art style is pointed and intentional. So right out of the gate, if you liked Tunic, you should check out Death's Door. But I don't recommend games because they're like other games. I recommend games because they're good for busy people. And ultimately, Death's Door gets a spot here because it's a simple, challenging title loaded with character and charm that respects your time and can be played in short, manageable chunks. Now, I won't lie. When I hear, or see, or get any indication that a game has Souls-like combat similarities, I'm immediately hesitant. Respawning enemies and rolling combat I can handle, but drawn-out encounters and losing all of your upgrade currency on death is just not something that interests me. Thankfully, Death's Door takes a modified approach to this equation that results in a much more balanced and enjoyable experience. To start with, enemies aren't sword sponges, but neither is your PC, meaning player corvid, of course. There are no flasks to gulp mid-fight, you get hit 4 times and you're dead. Enemies hit fast without dramatic wind-up times, and so does the PC. All these details come together to create a combat experience that's higher risk and faster paced with shorter encounter times, which to me is overall more engaging. As a busy person, it means you won't spend your entire play session fighting one mini-boss. But for me, the most important detail is that when you die, you don't lose all of your souls, which are your upgrade currency. So you won't have to deal with the sadness of losing all of your progress because you accidentally rolled off a cliff. I personally dislike the corpse run mechanic in games because it feels like it can rob me of any time I spent playing. Left soulless, upgradeless, and joyless, I tend to uninstall because I feel disrespected. But I didn't uninstall Death's Door, which in total takes around 10 hours to complete, and those 10 hours can be nicely broken up into concise sessions or long sessions should you so choose. The game is structured around a checkpoint system, the titular doors. Throughout the game, you'll come across fluorescent keyholes, which open up doors back to the RCH. And while in the RCH, you can prance about, upgrade your abilities, or revisit other areas you've already unlocked doors to. With these simple but elegant checkpoint systems, Death's Door increases its accessibility to the busy person by encouraging them to just get to a checkpoint, spend their accumulated souls, and then log off. When they hop back on, they can head right back through the door and back into the reap fields. I heard about Death's Door back when I had just finished Tunic. The games looked too similar for me to play back to back, and I think that was the right call. Both games are technically sound, have snappy controls, and lovely design. Tunic generally revels in its cutesy world with occasional spurts of darkness. Death's Door inverts that formula and brings a dark, haunted world to the forefront while underpinning cuteness and humor to keep the experience overall light and charming. The world is mostly composed of graveyards, doom, and fall colors. The denizens of the space that can't be seen by the Commission are generally off-putting, very Halloween-y vibes. But in contrast to the spookiness, there's a lot of humor dabbled throughout. From the silly bureaucracy to the knight with a pot for a head named Pothead, the game doesn't strive to tell a gritty, dark story. It just wants to have fun, and it wants you to have fun too. I'll admit it, I'll probably never beat a FromSoft game. They're too unwieldy and frankly require too much effort and time for me to engage fully with. Instead, I'll stick with games like Death's Door, which provide all the Souls-like combat I want, while maintaining the accessibility for those of us not interested in redoing the same area over and over and over and over. The combat is snappy and fast, there are a number of hop-on and hop-off points, and the overall design is exceptionally well delivered. For those reasons and more, I'm giving Death's Door 5 trinkets I found on the ground and stashed at my work desk out of 5 trinkets I found on the ground and stashed at my work desk. Highly recommended.